You know what? It's one of those nights, too, where I was trying to do a post game just immediately after, right? On NBC Sports. And my emotions had just gone from high to low. But then there was Kings fans behind me going, hey, we got the next one. Like, they were making me feel so much better. But I still don't feel great.
It was just a wild game, and the finish down the stretch made it almost more painful. I mean, think about the last 5 minutes of this game. 5 minutes of the game is usually crunch time in the NBA. That's the officials' under 5, close game, crunch time. It's tied at 104. Fox ties it at the 5:21 mark. The response by the Hawks was crazy. Bogey hits a 3. Hunter hits a jumper off after a DeAndre Hunter steal. Then Fox misses a layup. Collins has a layup. And all of a sudden, after being tied at 104, it's 111-104 with 3:50 to go. And at that moment, you're like,
game over.
All right, that was tough. That was tough. And then, boom, out of the timeout, what happens? Kevin Huerter hits a 3. All right, down to 4.
Feeling good.
Collins misses a shot. HB scores. It's a 2-point game. Okay, here's DeJounte Murray answering. It's 113-109 with 2:12 to play, and it's getting crazy here, right? And then we had probably the dunk of the year from De'Aaron Fox. It's called by Jason Ross filling in for the G-Man.
Still enough time, Jay. They got to get there. De'Aaron Fox to the basket.
Oh, Fox! No, he didn't. Yes, he did. He caught a body, went right through the teeth of the defense, and jammed it in the face of Okongwu. Oh, mercy.
That made it 113-111 with a minute 59 to go. Then, Trae Young turnover. And then what happened?
High screen set by Sabonis. Huerter pops out. Huerter left open. 3 for the lead. Give it to him. It's good. Sacramento up 114-113. The ex-Hawk has dropped 24 on his former team.
Red Velvet is in the building, baby.
90 seconds left. Trae Young, quick 3 for the answer. Rebound to Huerter. Oh, the comeback Kings are up to it again.
It's 114-113 with a minute 37 to go. How good are you feeling in that moment, Morgan?
Pretty freaking good.
114-113. Fox running float game. Good and one. The deuce and the damage for Fox. Sacramento has matched their largest lead of the game.
Oh.
And fourth quarter, D has the vest on his chest. Let's go, De'Aaron.
116-113. As a reminder, we were at the timeout with 3:50 to go. The Kings were down 111 and 104.
Fox makes the free throw. They're up 4 with a minute 16 to go. 117-113. A 4-point lead is not crazy in the situation. But, all right, you take care of business. You've got a chance here. Young goes down, layup and 1, cuts it to 1. Then Sabonis gets fouled, goes to the line with a 1-point game.
Heartbreaker.
Sabonis missed 2 free throws.
That second one in and out.
It just hurts. And then there was a play where Mike Brown challenged. The Kings won the challenge, but the Hawks still had the ball. Murray goes to the line, hits 2. Hawks back up. And then this play.
Reynolds gets the screen from the rookie Keegan Murray. De'Aaron looking to create. Oh, reach in by Murray. He picked his pocket. Murray's going the other way. DeJounte pushes off. No foul called. Basket is good. Sacramento down 3 with 16.9 to go. Coach Brown is livid. I think it was a clean pick by Murray, but they wanted a push off on the other end of the floor.
It was 121-17, and that ends up being the final score.
Yeah, and even that last possession for the Kings, it was like, were you trying to get a quick 2? Because it wasn't quick enough even trying to get that quick 2. It should have been a play either for a De'Aaron quick 2 or straight up 3, go for the dagger.
Of course, those plays we just referenced, your 2 best players who I thought were really good tonight, Sabonis and Fox. Sabonis misses the 2 free throws, and Fox gets picked by DeJounte Murray.
Yep.
Takes it strong to the basket. Fox tried to sell the contact. There was some contact there, Murray did lower the shoulder a bit. Fox tried to sell it, no call. That gets magnified, but really to me, it's the start of this game. It's how many shots the Kings missed at the rim early. And then it goes to defense, where I thought the Hawks, and this is another team where you watch them and go, wow, they've got a lot of players that if this team is healthy and if this team stays together, they should be good. They shouldn't be below 500. DeAndre Hunter was great tonight. Straight line drives to the basket. Collins was big with a monster 20 and 12 game. You had Trae Young, who did some great things out there, and Murray, and then Bogey off the bench.
17 for him.
It was too easy defensively. They had so many defensive breakdowns tonight.
That was it. And it seemed like possession after possession that the Hawks were converting on the offensive end, right? It just felt like the Kings couldn't get a stop. There's too many times there was dysfunction happening with the rotations, with the way that they were putting perimeter pressure on guys. The effort was there. It just wasn't being executed at all tonight on so many different levels. And Mike Brown even went to his second unit, didn't get the production he wanted from some of those guys, and it was a short leash for them.
The scoring was better than last night. They still weren't very productive, though. I thought the one guy off the bench that really did the best he could defensively was Davion Mitchell again, who, last night against the Jazz, there's a possession late in the third quarter where he literally defended all 5 Utah Jazz players on the floor and then got the rebound. And tonight, dude, he was getting into DeJounte Murray. He was trying to make life tough on Trae Young. He got switched on DeAndre Hunter. And unfortunately, because Davion is 6 foot, DeAndre Hunter, even if you make it hard on him, he could still shoot it over you. And that's what's challenging when your best defensive player is also 6 foot. He plays bigger than that. He can defend bigger guys, but some of these guys are going to be able to get buckets. And I think the Kings have a lot of deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball at this point with how the roster is currently constructed. Like they're going to compete, and if some nights they're locked in, they rotate, play some good team defense, they could be solid. But this is at best an average defensive team, if not a below average defensive team.
Yeah. And it's not something we're talking about after so many wins or after a win. We've talked about the flaws.
Yeah.
You know, I think in an exciting win, sometimes it's hard to just focus on the flaws because usually you're focused on the will to win at the end of a game, the response, the runs, all the good in that. But then in games like this, you can talk about the good. Sabonis with another double-double, and I know we'll get to that, but the runs at the end of the game and the fight, the battle back. But what got you to that point in the first place in having to battle and having to come back was because of all the mistakes and the flaws that you are seeing now with the roster.
Yeah, and I think some of the defensive mistakes, too, were just mental miscues, and I'm like, it could be mental fatigue. I mean, they did play last night
for sure
in Utah. Second half back-to-back, by the way. Every team in the league plays back-to-backs. These aren't excuses. I'm just bringing up facts. I mean, I thought at times tonight Fox looked like, oh, God, I am tired. And it's like, well, yeah, he played 38 minutes last night. Next night he's playing 37 minutes. He played a close game. The pace was really high in this game tonight. I thought one of my takeaways from the game, one, it always sucks to lose. We know this.
Yep.
Especially at home. The Kings really didn't play well tonight.
Yeah.
With the defensive breakdown, some of the missed shots at the rim, they only hit 10 of 25 from 3. They want to take 43s a game, and they still had a chance to win this game. And I'm not saying moral victory or anything like that, but I'm like, okay, like you weren't great. You put a great effort in the second night of a back-to-back. Now you get a few days off. Now you just need to win that Lakers game. You got to take, clean it up. Clean up the things you made mistakes on tonight. Maybe you knock down some more shots. Even the missed free throws by Sabonis at the end, I'm like, look, it sucks because it happened at the end of the game. Had he missed those 2 in the first quarter and we're not talking about it,
right.
It sucks. But I'm like, the guy also was 20 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 of 13 shooting, and those were his only 2 missed free throws of the game.
15th consecutive double-double for Domantas Sabonis, which ties the Sacramento Kings record, DeMarcus Cousins' 2013-14 season, I believe, of 15. So, he gets one more game with a double-double. He's the leader in that. But, when he's putting together so many games, well, he's playing well consistently in so many different games. It's bound to happen. That mistake, missing 2 big free throws at the end, it's bound to happen. You can get pissed off about it. Some people might be like, trade Domantas Sabonis. Others might hate him now. But the thing is, they're human. They're basketball players.
Dude,
these things are bound to happen. It just sucks.
The Hawks, I saw a stat today about the Hawks that was really interesting. A couple. When Trae Young shoots over 50% in the game, they are 6-0 now.
6-0. I used that stat.
They are 9-18 when he does not. He was 7 for 12 tonight with 21 points. He had 6 assists. He did have 5 turnovers. The other thing that was interesting is when their starting 5 is in there with Capella this season, it's only been 17 games. They are 12-5. They're starting to get healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Hunter's been back for a little bit now. Bogey's back in the fold. And I'm looking at this roster going, they're better than this. Now, can they get through the dysfunction that they've had with the Trae Young stuff? Collins
behind the scenes.
The front office is a mess at this point, right? Travis Schlank's no longer involved there. You've got the Trae Young, the Nate McMillan stuff. Collins has been talked about being traded for the last 2 years. The talent is there. And, you saw it tonight. I mean, this team is long. And it's another example of, well, what do you know? A team that's really long, athletic, giving the Kings some problems.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The mismatch, right? Or the matchup, I guess you can say, for the Kings in the difficulties that they face. When I was talking to Kenny before the game, trying to make him make a prediction about the homestand, and he mentioned the Orlando Magic because of their length, and that would be the game that he could see the Kings losing. And it's so true. When you look at teams around the NBA and they have that special big, or they have a team of just long players, that's where you're going to really face some of those problems. That's where you saw it again tonight. But also, Trae Young, talk about a guy that just knows how to get to certain spots on the floor, gets shifty. You have to put so much pressure on him you have to pay so much attention to him that sometimes you saw so much of the weakness on ball watching and coming over to help, and just those little fundamental things were just not sharp tonight.
Especially when they're running pick and rolls, right? And Sabonis is involved in that. He's coming out, and the Kings don't have any rim protection. They're not long.
Yeah.
The Kings did have more points in the paint tonight than the Hawks, but don't get it twisted. The Kings lost the points in the paint battle. Listen to this number. It was 60-56 Kings. The Hawks in the paint were 28 for 35.
Oh, jeez.
The Kings, 30 for 56. Morgan, they missed 26 shots in the paint. Yeah. Again, that's definitely length, but I thought especially in the first few minutes of the first quarter, they had gimmies they'd missed. I mean, you had Barnes on a fast break layup that, to be honest, should have dished it to Fox for a jam or something. Sabonis missed inside. I think Keegan missed one inside. Fox missed one inside. I mean, that's insane. 30 for 56 inside the paint?
Yeah.
And then the Hawks go 28 of 35. You're just not going to win many games. So that when you bring that up, you expect the Kings to be down by 20 in that game, and it's kind of crazy that they were in this with those numbers.
That's exactly it. And I think you see the way that they were playing too. So you look at some of those numbers, you see the way that they were playing. It just wasn't sharp. It wasn't being executed on either end of the floor. And then you look at their starting lineup, and 4 of the 5 guys scored 20 plus points, right?
Hey, so the Kings.
No, that's what I'm talking about with the Kings.
I'm sorry. The Hawks did too, though.
That's actually really funny. No, and I was actually talking about, wow, that's really identical. The one guy for both their squad in that certain lineup both scored 8, Keegan Murray and Okongwu. But, for the Kings, though, when they've had nights like that, that's usually when, okay, things are flowing, things are looking good. It never truly felt like that.
Yeah, the only time it felt like they had something really going is when they made that run with like 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Other than that, it was like, okay, they score a couple times, they're within 4 or 2, and then straight line drive score, 3-ball score, and you're like, God, it's back to 7 again? Like, what the hell? And that's what's wild about this game. The biggest lead the Hawks had in this game was 9, but at times you're like, God, it just feels like 15. It feels like the Kings can't get a stop, and there's good reason. I mean, again, 28 for 35 inside the paint for the Hawks tonight for 56 points. That hurts. That hurts. On the night, the Hawks ended up shooting 53%. They were 10 of 30 from 3. The Kings shot 46%, 10 of 25 from 3, 25 of 27 from the free throw line. 11 turnovers, not terrible. Turned into 16 points, though. And then for the Hawks, they had 16 turnovers. The Kings were only able to muster 16 points out of those 16 turnovers. Kings didn't get crushed rebounding. In fact, they had more offensive rebounds than the Hawks tonight. They lost their rebounding advantage overall 44-42. And second chance points, it was 10-9. So that's not insane at all. DeAndre Hunter, 22 points, 8 rebounds. Collins had 22 and 12. You had 21 for Murray on 8 of 17, 21 for Trae Young. For the Kings, you mentioned the 4 guys with 20 or more. That included Harrison Barnes, who had 22 points on 7 of 15, but 2 of 7 from 3. Sabonis had 20, 14, and 8. Kevin Huerter against his former team, 24 points. He had 5 assists on 4 of 9 from 3. And Fox had 25, 5 and 5. On 9 of 20, he was 7 of 7 from the line tonight. And only took 1 3.
And I love to see that. And actually, before I want to say one thing about Harrison Barnes, but before I say that, with De'Aaron, Will Z put out a stat about De'Aaron Fox dunk watch. And so tonight was his 15th dunk of the season in 34 games. Last season, he had 14 in 59 games. So it's cool to see him getting up, going to the rim with authority. But going back to Harrison Barnes, those threes in last night's game against the Jazz, he was hitting early, right? He was getting that momentum. Those were flying. The pace was going, and he was hitting a lot of those transition threes. Tonight, they weren't falling right away. So then he started doing a good job, though, of taking it to the paint, being aggressive still. You know, I love seeing when he finishes a game with 22 points, but he was still... He was like needed in so many different categories, even though he still got his rebounds and everything as well.
God, the points in the paint thing bugs me. I mean, you missed 26 shots in the paint. That's insane. I mean,
it's
in a 3-point game.
Right.
And it's not like you went, oh, hey, the Hawks had 17 blocks tonight. That wasn't the case, you know? I think on the night they finished with 4 blocks, and I thought the Kings, if anything, need to run more pick and rolls, and they needed to keep forcing it inside because they really didn't have an answer, especially when Okongwu picks up his 5th foul. They go with Collins, and Sabonis is like, time to eat. And the Kings just weren't able to take advantage. They had some great opportunities in this one. So you could point to the missed free throw by Sabonis, the 2 missed free throws, and Fox getting picked. But I think when you take a step back and just look at some of those numbers, you go, oh, there's where he lost the game tonight. And I just don't expect the Kings to be that inefficient inside. Defensively, you know, these are things that I think they're just going to run into this year.